tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Z Nation fans. It's the end of the world.
It is the end of the world. Things are literally like the end is nigh.
Yeah, pretty much.
We already used radioactive, so...
No, we didn't actually.
We were going to use radioactive and we didn't.
But welcome to another edition of the Z Nation After Show, episode 13, The Doctor of the Dead.
Bum, bum, bum.
And it's the end of the world. That's the end of the series. That's the end of the season, not series,
Wow.
thank goodness.
I was gonna say.
No, we already got that like 6 episodes back.
That's true.
No, the renewal.
If this had been the end of the series, I would have been so angry.
I would have been angry too.
We'll talk about that in a bit. We should probably intro.
Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce my wonderful panel tonight. To my left, Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies.
Zach
Hey
Wilson.
guys, how's it going?
Team Survival,
Yes.
still trucking on.
We will survive.
Even though there's only one of you tonight.
And we have not one, not two, but 3 wonderful guests joining us tonight. Joining us, Russel Hodgkinson.
Hey, Doc in the house. Hey, which camera are you looking at?
This
Going
one.
over here.
Right over there?
Yeah, that one.
Hey, Z Nation fans, we love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, we do.
They really are a separate breed, you know? The Z Nation fans, they're just like a hybrid of, well, never
All
mind.
sorts of awesome. And joining us again in the studio, we have Michael Cassutt
Hey.
and Karl Schaefer.
Hello.
How are you
Hello,
guys doing
everyone.
tonight?
We're doing excellent.
Really great to be here.
We're resting now. Great season finale. It's time to go into hibernation for till next season.
So I have to ask, now that the final episode has aired and, you know, there's been 1 or 2 days to kind of just sit and process it, what has been the overall fan reaction? Because I stayed away from social media because we don't watch until Sunday. What has been the overall fan reaction to this ending? Because, oh my God.
I think people like it. I think everybody seems there's good buzz about the finale. Everybody seemed to really like it as an episode. I think it left people wanting more, which was the point, and wondering what the hell we're gonna do next.
I've been
was
hearing
all a
people
dream.
been saying, we got to wait a year for season 2. Like they're, you know, bummed out that they got to wait so long. That's what I've been hearing.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, we are an instant gratification society. We want it now.
I want to watch all 13 episodes of next season tomorrow.
I don't think
Well,
I
you
can
could
handle
go
that roller
to
coaster.
iTunes or Netflix, any of those. You can
They're
watch
actually
all
already
13
there.
episodes.
AfterBuzz exclusive.
Yeah.
You just gotta look for them.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
can't find them, you're not looking hard enough. So
Yeah, you have
keep at it.
the right password.
So here's my question. We know that we have a season 2 renewal. Huzzah. If we did not have that renewal, if this really was the end of the series, did you have extra footage, extra scene shot showing those missiles hit, showing this pretty much being the end? Because I have to say that I love a series actually going for the rocks fall, everyone dies option is amazing.
Well, that could be the opening of season 2. Who knows?
We have a new cast.
I could see
happen.
that happening.
There's
I'd
some
be
neg-
really mad, but I could see that happening.
There's some negotiations to take place.
Exactly. We only had people for the first year, so we had to renegotiate, and
The real,
wanted everybody a little worried as they went into
the real title of the
negotiation.
episode was Leverage.
Yeah.
But Tish.
Really?
As far as threats go, like 8 nuclear warheads hovering over their heads, pretty solid.
It's actually a standard William Morris negotiating tactic.
But why was one going towards Citizen Z? That was something I didn't quite
It's an
cotton on to.
NSA headquarters.
True, but it was only supposed to melt down that particular breach for
I
the
imagine
lab.
it's a security information
Actually,
thing.
what happened was the single missile that went up that's going towards the lab set off the other missiles. They're all like dead man missiles, like third strike weapons that are left over from the Cold War.
So it was
that are
a
still
Cold War
operative,
thing.
right? Still
Yes.
Right, so there was like, out of the thousands and thousands of missiles left over, the 8 of them actually fired off sort of accidentally.
Some rusted circuit someplace. It's like, oh, this,
It was just an automatic thing. So
It was actually a
we-
zombie.
It's like a
it was
leftover
zombie
of
circuit.
the.
So we have Z Nation turning into World War Z, basically.
No, Z Nation's better. We're talking movie World War Z.
movie. Oh,
Book
yeah, the
World
movie
War
was
Z was
ridiculous.
good, but movie World War Z was.
I like to imagine that there was a zombie like chewing on the wires of the nuclear warheads and set them off accidentally.
Kind of riding on it.
Maybe that's how we get out of
Wearing a
this.
cowboy
Big
hat.
Wires in his teeth, taking them off with it.
And
How
thought
I learned to love the apocalypse.
don't you- I think it was important that everybody's in danger. Why should Citizen Z get off scot-free? Everybody should be, everybody's job should be at stake.
Exactly.
I did love DJ Qual's performance with that particular scene. He's like, "Where are you going?" And then goes outside and goes, I hate the apocalypse, and then just kind of laughs because what else can you do when there's a nuclear warhead heading straight for you?
He's always good.
If you're Murphy, run, I guess.
Oh yeah, 'cause
that'll help.
You're gonna be able to. I do find it very interesting that just a couple episodes ago we averted a nuclear crisis, and
then
now,
started another one.
And now this episode ends with basically the nuclear holocaust, and that's no good for any of our characters. But we do see that Mac and Addie are still alive for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was my reaction. It's, they're alive. Not for long.
Yeah.
You just never know with us.
Hello, Anastasia and her sister wife, little blouse. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Sister wife flowered blouse.
I was just really happy to see Mac not riddled with bullets because it was left ambiguous, and it was nice to
Well,
see him up and about.
I read so much into the dress because that says so much about what's happened to them since that he's in like more or less exactly where we left him. He could have been this next moment.
Yeah,
minus
pretty
like
much.
the fact that he's not shot and he's not doesn't look like he's bleeding. So I mean, if I'm gonna like block my eyes so that I don't get any.
I'm gonna do the exact opposite and stare. Go ahead, Zach.
I'm thinking that Mac just like is like doing like some like passive resistance, like meditating outside the walls for like 2 months, just
Leading a one-man siege.
yeah, or not even siege, just like he's like I'm gonna sit here. What's that? There's that song that there's like the man who can't be moved. He's just like sitting on the corner, like I
that's
will
a good
wait
song.
until you will come out and say hello to me.
Actually,
He's
he has a sign that says, "We'll pike for food."
He's like that stray cat that always comes to your window and wants to be fed and won't leave.
Maybe that's how he's eating. Annie's just throwing this.
That lady's bringing him pie.
You really can't blame Addie for staying. I mean, if Doc would have been able to get behind that wall, I probably would have stayed. I mean, that was
fair enough.
paradise. It was really beautiful.
Doc in a gingham dress. Though. It's
I would have
just
wore
not
any
right.
flowered blouse they put me in. And Kelly McGillis. I mean, come on.
I think you could pull it
I
off.
still don't trust any place that looks that Stepford, peaceful, quiet in the apocalypse. That is
It's
not a place.
Woodbury.
That is an excellent comparison. That is
Woodbury?
Woodbury run by
there's-
someone who wasn't quite as crazy as the governor. We're making a
Walking Dead.
parallels
Okay,
here.
I fell off before that.
You're making a what comparison?
Walking Dead? What is
What's
that?
that?
In
Oh,
the-
that other. I'm sorry.
thing.
That other zombie
Somebody
show.
else
Yeah.
was saying something
course.
about that Walking
Yeah,
Dead
that walking
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
That thing.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it's popular with the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are the kids watching these
heard
days?
good
And the nihilistic
I'm behind
crowd.
on my TV. So.
You know what's more fun than moping about zombies? Mutant zombies.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Thank you
talk
for
about
describing
these.
that as moping about zombies. That's exactly what it was.
Let's go ahead and talk about this strain of mutant zombies, because something that has always been impressive with basically every episode of this series is you don't just get the normal zombies, you don't just get running zombies and really decomposed zombies. You get zombies
Zombear.
of every variety. You get zombare, you get nuclear zombies. zombies. You get these
Zombabies.
zombabies. Indeed.
Amish
Forget that.
zombies.
Amish
Don't forget the
zombies.
Amish. Those are my favorite.
Really?
Zomish.
Oh yeah.
I love her reaction was just Amish zombies. Really?
Really?
I love
Viagra
the
zombies.
Philadelphia
We got 'em
bowling
all.
zombies.
Viagra
Bell.
zombies. is
Viagra
great.
zombies.
Oh my god, the Viagra zombies.
Zombies you
that.
can't show on television.
Yeah.
And I
The
really
best.
like the setup for this because we get to Fort Collins and they've clearly been doing all of these genetic experiments trying to find a cure. And so we see a lot of the results of that, and a lot of the results of this are really horrifying because we see people who are still alive to some degree, shut up in the dark. And it was
You okay over there?
Yeah.
it was great. This was probably the most impressed I've ever been with the production value of the show because it's dark and horrifying. And we do get a little bit of moment of levity when Murphy comes to the realizations that they're different than the other type of zombies. But I don't think they like me. But it was well shot. The lighting was superb. The type of zombies that we were seeing were genuinely scary and kind of very disquieting. It was very unsettling.
This was not an episode to watch alone in the dark, which is exactly what I did. So I was
I think it's great because like with zombies there are so many different ways the mythology can go, and this is almost like a little hall of like these are all the directions we could have taken
a
this.
smorgasbord.
I love
of
the
terror.
way it was put, that it was a hall of horrors. It
Yeah.
was so well done. What was it like filming in that? Because it was just so dark and creepy.
Well, it was cool when we shot, when we're looking in the holes, you know, there was nothing there when we were
Yeah.
doing, so we were acting. But I love the girl with with all the flies on her and everything.
Oh, so
yeah,
gross.
she was great. Yeah, a couple of those mutant zombies I think we pulled right off the street,
That's
huh,
right.
Carl?
Yeah,
Didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
No casting involved.
Very little makeup,
Right off
just a
the
little
street.
little touch up, and
They didn't know what they were getting
What
into.
are you doing right now?
Spokane.
You got like 10 hours free? Okay, come on.
well, it is true that the guy in the Ebola character, we had a hard time finding an extra for that part. There was some mix-up somewhere, and we needed somebody who looked African, which is a little tough to find in Spokane. And our extras person literally went racing out in their car, driving down the street, and saw some guys that looked possible, and like pulled up in a car and said, "Do you want to be in a TV show?" And they're kind of like, "I don't know what happened." She goes, "Get in!" And she just got him in there. That guy didn't know what was gonna be like. He didn't know what the scene
He
was.
had no idea.
No idea. Like they were putting makeup on him as they're bringing him in, and they're putting these huge, hideous
boils and stuff, yeah.
on him. And he's going,
Probably making
"What is
him
it that's
sign
wrong
the
with me?"
liability
Yeah.
waiver like as they're pushing him out the car.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was getting into.
It was pretty funny. It would have been funny from his point of view because it was like being in all these people were working on him and putting like 10 minutes before he was like
Yeah.
walking to the store to get cigarettes.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's like
But
Exactly.
he only had to sit up, raise his arms, and get a giant needle shoved up his nose, right? No big deal.
Note to any and all Z Nation fans, if somebody pulls up in an unmarked car and asks you, "Hey, you want to be on TV?" Don't go with them.
No,
Just
do go,
as a
do go.
general safety rule.
I'm going. I don't know what you guys
You'll
are talking
totally have
about.
fun.
That's
It's
you want to be
fun.
a zombie? Come with me.
That's Spokane, and this is LA. You really don't do that in LA.
Sounds
but
about as safe
Spokane.
as somebody pulling
It's-
up in their van and saying, "I have candy."
We refer to it as Spokangelus. And if you're from Spokangelus, we refer to it as Spokompton.
Right.
Right? I mean, if you're from Los
have
Angeles,
a
yeah,
friend
Spokompton.
who lives there, and she's been watching the series going, this was filmed there, and this was filmed there, and that was filmed there, and that's why there were so many zombies on my morning commute. And I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
recap that show.
That's a
It's
great
gonna be
city.
great.
We love shooting there. It's great.
Yeah, I like Spokane.
And lots of variety, you
We'll
know?
probably get there as Spokane at some point this season, I think.
Yeah.
We're actually going to go home.
And those
do a
shots will be
homecoming
filmed in LA?
episode. Yeah, that's right. We'll come to LA to shoot
I
that
will
part of
say-
Or
it.
Vancouver.
I'm very surprised that we never actually made it to California.
I'm not. 5-year plan.
I mean, I understand that, but I really thought that by the end of this season, we would be at California. Something would have gone wrong very similar to this, and that we would have had to deal with the fallout of the California plan not working and having to pick up. Because even when they were talking about what they were going to do when they got rid of Murphy, they were basically saying how they were all going to go their separate ways. And it would have been very interesting to see how, again, the group separated and fragmented like it is at the end here, if they manage to survive the nuclear holocaust that is, incoming.
Imminent.
It'll be very interesting to see how and if they can come back together.
True.
Well, originally the show did get to California when we laid out the season the first time, that was sort of the end of the first season, was they got to California, and then the network started to weigh in, and they liked it at first, but then they're going, well, we don't want to totally change the show at the end of the first season. If people are really liking it, we would like to keep it in that mode that you're in. So we want you to take a couple of seasons to get to California.
Okay, so they wanted to be a little bit more conservative with the formula.
A left turn once we get there.
We just ran out of gas.
Fair enough.
Road tripping.
There was just too many places to go. I mean, there was too many opportunities of interesting places to go while
That's
we're still
true.
on our way. And
You have all of America to work with, so
Right.
that makes sense.
Are we
All I
going to try
can
to do
say is-
a snow scene? Somebody told me we're trying to do a snow
we're
scene.
trying to figure that out. It snows up there till March. We're not scheduled to shoot till May, but we're trying to see if there's a way to go up and shoot the exteriors or shoot an episode
Something.
and close down and come back in May or something like that.
Yeah,
Because it would
it'd be cool.
It would be super cool. It's really neat up there in the snow.
Beautiful,
Zombie sickles.
gorgeous.
All I can say is if they make it, if they still work in Colorado, if they do for some reason make it to Denver, please do something with the demon horse outside of Denver International.
The demon
It would be
horse outside of
perfect.
what is that?
It's this giant blue horse sculpture. It's a blue horse with black mane, black tail, black hooves, and glowing red eyes outside the airport. You see it when you're driving in, you see it when you're driving out, and urban legend has it that the guy who sculpted it, part of the sculpture fell off and killed him. The thing looks like it came from hell.
It's happening.
Well, and DIA supposedly has tons of conspiracy theorists. There's murals and there's a little thing to the Shriners in the middle, and it's just people think that the Hellmouth is in DIA. So
Okay.
That's silly.
interesting.
That'd be
I just
fun.
want to see something with the demon horse if they
Okay.
do survive this and go south.
You got it.
Let's go back. I mean, they are in Colorado, so you never know.
And all of my Colorado listeners are like, yeah, that
The
thing.
demon horse.
The demon horse.
Although, speaking of, you mentioned the Ebola extra, and I do want to talk about this mysterious evil mad scientist because we open up, actually I think this is the first time we open up prior to the zombie apocalypse, because even from the very get-go, this show opened when things were at their absolute worst, and we haven't gotten to see, I mean, we live in the world, so we know what the world was like prior to the zombie apocalypse, but this is the first time the show has delved into that a little bit, and we open with this seemingly nice doctor, having this nice conversation with this lady and, talking like, oh, your baby is so cute, grow up and, make something of yourself, make us all proud. And then he goes and murders 2 people literally right after that. This man is a monster.
He had a job to do.
He was great.
keeps getting-
Isn't he great?
Yeah.
I love that guy. He was really, that smile on his face, just like kind of Hannibal Lecter sort of.
Just very
2 by 2
polite
hands of blue.
and evil.
Evil
that-
Dr. Kurtz.
Well, that was
that brain
John.
fluid he was getting?
Yeah, and John Hyams and I wrote that episode, and he really wanted to see the beginning of things, and we wanted to get into just what was going on behind the zombie apocalypse. Was there a reason for it? Was it man-made? And just to start to tease some of those elements out that will get around to full circle here in the next season. So
Yeah, and it was actually really cool because that is something that we've been questioning is how did the zombie apocalypse come about? Was it a disease? Because there are lots of, depending on what kind of zombie lore you're looking at, there are lots of different origin stories for zombies. And this one, it's all but confirmed now that this doctor is probably the cause of everything that's happened. Because at first we were very suspicious of Dr. Murch.
Yeah.
But now it looks like, oh no, it's definitely that guy.
well, you never know with us where we're going with
Not
these
to-
things.
not
So
to, like,
he's
yeah.
certainly one possibility. Yes.
Not to alleviate Dr. Murch of any
no.
twisted wrongdoing.
That bitch.
That's my friend Lisa. Actually, she's a neighbor of mine. That's the most fun for me. Seeing who's on the cast list, because 80% of the cast is really out of the Pacific Northwest, and so they're all my people. It's like, Richard, the patient zero.
Right.
He's my buddy Richard. I've done lots of plays with him. And
Everybody knows everybody up there on our crew.
yeah, the little junkie kid who takes the doctor to the guy. Yeah, that's Christopher. We did a play together. Huckleberry fan. He was Huckleberry fan. I was his dad. Yeah, they're all my
He's
friends.
dead now. Well, he is. But I
Everyone in this series is.
I really liked the way this was played up with this doctor globe-trotting, getting closer and closer to when the zompocalypse happened. And we see him going to all these different things, looking at all these different patients of these different diseases. And he's pulling together their brain fluids to create some super disease.
I feel like this
something.
is like that Twilight Zone episode where combine all the most dangerous animals in the world and it creates man.
I just keep thinking of this was all very Resident Evil to me. You have a guy screwing around with things he shouldn't. We have our own Wesker. He's lacking sunglasses, but nonetheless. And now we have all of these zombies coming out of nowhere who are not like the zombies we've seen before, who are hostile. Mm-hmm. It was very, very Resident Evil. We just kind of walked into Star City here. Raccoon City, rather. That's not good.
Zombies that are not susceptible to Murphy's charms.
The T-virus.
It's pretty funny. Although there was one I wanted to bring up in particular, the Haiti stop, which was the patient who was trapped under a bunch of rubble, and he's kind of in this waking comatose state where he won't communicate to anybody, but he will obey commands. And I thought it was very interesting that Haiti in particular was chosen for this particular patient. For one reason in particular, a lot of, at least film-wise, zombie film history for zombies started a lot more with voodoo. That a lot of people know Romero as the one who created the current zombie genre. He's the standard. But prior to that, there actually were a lot of other zombie movies that all dealt with voodoo. Zombies weren't actually dead. They were just people being mind controlled.
You're absolutely
like everybody
right.
with
And
an
I
iPhone.
That's exactly the idea.
Oh my gosh.
Going back to the origins of the word zombie and the ability to control the undead, and people that wouldn't die, and that there was a chemical that you could give them to control them.
It's all part of the cocktail.
Do we have a sound effect for mind blown? Because that's what just happened to me here. I didn't pick up on that last night.
There you go.
Well, and also interesting, in all those old classic zombie movies, there is always some sort of witch doctor who's pulling the strings, who is leading zombies to do his bidding. And right now I'm looking at this doctor and going, you.
Ting tang walla walla bing bang.
Pretty much. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I don't know. Now I'm thinking I wonder if some old version of zombies were started by Dr. John down in New Orleans. So many possibilities, and I love the. First of all, I love that it was Dr. Kurtz because my internist is named Dr. Kurtz.
Well, that was who he was masquerading as. I don't actually remember his name.
Oh, I got it
Kurian.
backwards.
Kurian.
I'm kind of sad that no one actually picked up that, Dr. K.U.R., he's probably one of the dead guys sitting at the table.
Happy birthday!
That was my knee-jerk reaction was, you survived the birthday party. You shouldn't have survived that birthday party.
Well,
Who are you really?
I mean, when you come across a table and it's surrounded by, corpses around this birthday cake, I would assume that the birthday cake is poison. And what does Murphy do is he picks it up and he starts eating the frosting.
They had to redo that take about 10 times. He ate about 10 of those roses, just a little FYI.
Wow.
He was making himself sick.
That's
no
hilarious.
more, Murphy.
He
That's
didn't have a
enough.
spit bucket or anything?
Well, they
He
kept
just
putting
ate
the
'em?
rose back on and eating. He just, he
Our
ate
craft
that bunch of
services
them.
wasn't working. He was just hungry.
Yeah,
That
he ate a
was
lot of
just-
frosting that day.
That was a much needed moment of levity there. Just looking at this going, we just did the Hollywood Horror Nights walkthrough with everything in the rooms and everything messed up and everyone's a little unhappy, and then Sugar Rose. It's like,
And
We've all done that.
did you love that epic cake in the face?
Yeah,
bit?
that was great too. That was-
One take. That's all we had.
Seriously?
One
One
take.
take. So they gave me a fake cake to practice a bunch of times, to pretend, and then it was like, okay, let's do it. And John was loving that bit. He was laughing so hard.
Yeah, didn't he blow the take? Actually, because he was laughing so hard. I mean, we were able to use it in the end, but
I don't know what got blown. That's probably why my high five to 10K wasn't used, because he was probably laughing.
yeah,
during
no, he
that.
starts laughing after you hit
Because
him.
I had
with
this
the-
great high five to 10K after we, killed the guy, and I was like, man, that was
That'll
a
be
good
in the
bit.
highlight reel.
We
Yeah,
need
John
a
laughing
blooper
and me
reel.
high fiving.
We need a blooper reel or something, because it seems like that and
There's
the
one exists.
1,000
I haven't
deaths
seen
of
it yet,
Mac.
but-
There is one.
I believe so. Yeah, the editors were
the
keeping
editors
one.
were talking
Very
about how
cool.
they were compiling it as like a just in case. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we actually get to see that.
That is mildly terrifying. Actually. My little Rolodex. I'm thinking of all these moments of okay,
I want it.
save it for the.
Yeah, he's
want
going to be call your attorney.
Right.
But I love that they'd said they'd done that before. It's like frozen food section, frozen food section.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
planned.
Yeah, it was
This
definitely meant
isn't
to be
the
one of those
playbook.
bits. Yeah.
And it's a great, well, it's also an effective reminder of like these guys have been through a war. It's like it's a reminder of all the other war movies you've seen where they like remember that time in Istanbul and they just like click and it's like
you
all
and I
right.
remember Budapest very differently.
Thank you for understanding where my brain went there.
That was what I was
but
thinking of.
It was a lot of great moments. I think the creepiest moment in the base though was that when we found like the doctor still alive.
Yes.
Oh,
and
that
Patient
he
Zero?
comes
Yeah,
in.
Patient
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patient Zero.
Oh, Patient Zero.
Yes, that was both this heartbreaking and unsettling and all sorts of creepy. Again, I think this episode has been the scariest Z Nation has ever been.
Oh, yeah.
Just because there's so much of the unknown that we're dealing with, and we're dealing with a lot of the consequences of these genetic experiments that may have basically caused the outbreak and have caused the world to collapse as we know it.
Well, and I thought the poor guy texting his wife was also pretty
Yeah.
bad.
That was pretty
Tell
awful.
the kid, just reading off the text, and I'm like, oh no. Tell the kids I
Kiss
love
the kid.
them.
Yeah. Tell the kids I love them. And how about the epic makeup on Patient Zero?
That was
Did they
I
do
mean,
that?
they
Yeah,
brought
that
it.
was
Was he just
Synapse,
like
yeah.
a head and then
Synapse.
below the table, or how
Man,
did that
they
work?
really brought it, and Richard Sloniker, who played Patient Zero, was such a trooper. Man, he had to wear that half the
Again,
day.
it was the same
amazing.
actor. That's
Yeah,
all
same guy.
sorts of incredible.
Yeah, same guy. And,
Same guy, wonderful actor.
It was a combination of visual effects and physical effects. So from like here up, it was him, and from the neck down, it was visual effects. And,
Because rib cage.
Yeah,
I did
that
want
was
to
cool.
ask
Wasn't him.
when he was speaking to Murphy. I wanted to ask specifically if he was actually speaking, or if that was just Murphy being able to understand him, because Murphy is kind of a zombie.
Well, he was speaking.
No,
wasn't he,
it
Carl?
was him. Yeah, it was him actually.
speaking.
Okay.
The bit with him was he wanted to be dead, but he couldn't die. That was the one thing that the vaccine he was given was able to give him, but not cure him, just not let him die. And
Ugh,
so
and he's all melty. It was gross.
slowly rotting away.
Speaking of not being able to die, I also want to talk about Cassandra. Because we've seen this building for a couple episodes now. I never thought it would escalate to this point, in all honesty, because we saw her get injured a couple episodes ago, and
It was off screen though.
Yeah, it
she
was-
just showed up with an injury,
It
and I
was-
thought it was going to be gone because it happened off screen, whatever. And now I'm angry that we didn't actually get to see it happen because it became such a big factor.
I mean, they mentioned that the episode where that happened was supposed to be a half an hour. Originally, it was a half an hour longer because
That's
there was
true.
a lot at the compound that ended up getting cut.
True.
So again,
And
concessions
I mentioned
for
it.
time.
My character says she got hooked
Yeah.
up on
Right.
some barbed
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah.
That in fact did.
I would have liked to
normal?
have seen it happen,
Yeah.
especially
Normal.
since it became such a plot point.
Yeah, normal everyday apocalypse stuff,
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
Barbed wire.
supposed to be just like a small infection that
That's
just
just
kept getting worse and worse
I
and
almost
worse.
kind of like that it is something mundane, as opposed to like she got really hurt like pushing somebody out of the way of a car or something like
Right.
that. That it was something really trivial, but in this world, something even that trivial can have devastating consequences.
There
and we
there
see
are
that
no
here.
antibiotics to help you out. Like if you get some bad, you're gonna die.
Yeah, and I like that this created a lot of really good character interactions this episode, especially because this is the end of the season.
You know what I loved when 10K was saying goodbye to her, I loved that he didn't kiss her, that he just hugged her. You know what I mean? Because this is the first time this kid is came that close to a woman. He doesn't know. And I know some fans were like, oh, he should have kissed. They should have kissed. I'm so glad he just hugged her.
She's sick too.
It was
but I mean, a kiss on the cheek, he could have even done that, but he just gave her a really sweet hug. I thought it was a great moment.
Well, yeah, and he's holding her, for a good portion in this episode until she feels like she literally can't go on.
Yeah, she's
Did
even
she
leaning.
drop his name?
She did.
Didn't she name drop him? I was like,
She did.
oh my
It was-
God.
But she said it quietly so we couldn't hear because he said, don't tell anybody, but his name's Tommy.
I rewound it.
Oh, did you?
I did. I was like, wait. Did that just...
I really wanted subtitles
She
because
is going to die.
I really wanted subtitles because I was like, did she say Tommy or Donnie? Which one was it? I'll never know.
Tommy. It's a good
Tommy.
Irish name. Thomas.
And let's not forget that there was a moment where they were both naked and she was leaning on him.
Oh yeah, that was really
Let's not forget that.
eyes front, mister.
I'm not the elephant man.
Yeah, I did push-ups for 3 days before that. I was like, oh shit, I gotta take my shirt off. Oh no.
I liked your farmer's tan too.
Yeah, we were like, what are you guys doing? They wanted to put more makeup on the farmer tan, but it was funny.
That was
People
funny.
love that.
It'll be known as the apocalypse tan. From
Right.
And again, it was this nice moment of levity, to just have all of our main characters standing in a room naked together, not making eye contact. It was really funny. And then we have everything else that happens in this episode, which is far less funny.
That's pretty much what this episode is. Laugh and then go to hell. And then laugh and then go to hell. And
It's
we
sort
just
of our
kinda stay in
series.
hell.
I mean, that's kind of
much.
Kind of why we're here,
Liberty Bell, cannibals.
right?
And what happens with Cassandra, because she and Murphy share, this moment together, and on the surface it kind of looks very sweet because for the first time he looks like he gives Cassandra this genuine smile and then leaves the room. But since we didn't cut back to her, it's like, okay, something happened, and they're not going to show us what it is until a little later.
Well, you saw the bite on her face,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what
I see what you're
happens.
saying.
Oh, as soon as he walks in the room, I'm like, oh, he's gonna bite her.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like,
gonna get
he's
rid of
gonna
it.
Well,
bite her, he's gonna
if
bite
you look
her.
at her,
She's
she
not
plays
gonna-
that scene really well too. Like at first, she's like, "Oh, okay," and then she looks in his eyes and sees something. And then she has this great change that
Yeah.
comes over her face,
Yeah.
just real briefly before we cut away, where it's like, "What's he gonna do now?"
And
you know?
just the way her re-entrance was shot was really well done. Just the slow reveal, because at first you can only see her eye and you can see that she looks ashen and everything like that. So she looks like a zombie when she first walks in, but then when you actually see her, there's total mental awareness there, and her eyes are like a different color, and you see the bite mark on the cheek, and you're like, Murphy, what did you do?
Well,
Surprise! Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Well, you know what I thought was very interesting about her appearance was her whole attitude as a zombie, because there's sort of two ways to look. She's much more confident, I guess you could say, or just aggressive, but there's a confidence about it that's very much Murphy.
She has
that's
swagger.
but that's how Murphy behaves. So there's two possibilities that I see. Either it's Murphy when he bites you, he puts a little bit of his own personality into that person, but we didn't really see that last time. Or it's that this is the true Cassandra, freed of her
Freed of her fears and anxieties.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all that other
Because
stuff.
she knows I can't die. I'm invincible except if I get shot in the head.
And I think it makes her a little sexier too. Kind of gives her this sexy edge, don't you think? Sort of.
Well,
I'd say that if she hadn't just,
I mean, with
I'm
the
on board.
hair, the hair's kind of back to when she was in
I
the
think
cage.
that's gonna catch on as a style.
Totally.
As far as
Actually, it did
Eyes
about
and
20
everything.
years ago, Heroin Chic, but yeah.
well, at first I thought Murphy was controlling her, like it was a full on, kind of puppet master deal. Like
Well,
he
wasn't
was
it?
making.
he said sick him, or what did he say? Kill him.
Yeah,
him.
he did say kill. Yeah,
He
he
did.
is controlling
He's
her.
controlling her.
He's
Yeah.
controlling her, but I'm wondering to what degree is she still her? Because it's one thing to for Murphy to be completely pulling the strings and there's just not much there, but she looks completely mentally aware, and yes, she's obeying him. But she also she's aware enough to be able to turn and tell her friends to run and get away. So,
yeah, she definitely has a certain amount of autonomy, and when he's nearby and concentrating on her, he has some influence over her behavior.
And yeah, she doesn't look like a normal zombie. She looks more like a Murphy zombie.
Yeah. Or I guess it could be as simple as Murphy puts like an intention into her, like kill this guy, and then everything between A to C is just
Kind
like
of
whatever.
secondary.
Yeah, everything in B is her decision.
I just had Attack on Titan flashback. You can't become a zombie unless you have a physical injury and a goal. Okay. Okay.
Well, we could also get into, if we wanted to get into spoilers, we could make other Attack on Titan comparisons.
Oh,
but we
no.
will not do that.
We're not
going
gonna
to
do that to the audience.
A lot of us are very confused.
That's okay. The people who get the crossover will enjoy it.
Go ahead and message us directly about it and we'll talk. But for right now,
Don't
we'll leave
spoil
that.
anything in the comments, you guys. You're usually really good
Point
at
is,
this.
season 2 of both Z Nation and Attack on Titan will be very interesting.
Well, if Doc gets to come back for season 2, and I don't know, Carl's here, I'm gonna butter him up later.
It's touch and go.
But I got some great
I have to
ideas
say.
about season 2. Some stuff,
Let's hear it.
Can we
maybe I think Doc maybe could create like a strain of weed that he grows
this
out
idea
of
already.
out of dead zombie compost.
Oh my god.
And it's called Z-weed. And he smokes it with Murphy. And
Right.
and it does something like either stabilizes him or it does something. I'll leave
It
that
has
up
some
to
of
you guys.
the benefits of the vaccine, as the vaccine would.
Yeah.
And that's
provides
how
him
we
some coverage.
immunize the rest of the human race.
They are currently in Colorado.
It is medicinal.
that's true.
Oh.
That's true. Oh, that's right. It's not legal.
It is in Colorado.
Oh, it is legal. I was going to say, because
Colorado
medical
and
marijuana.
Washington.
It should be a medical strain
Again,
of medical
it's
marijuana.
It's medicinal. It has medicinal
Absolutely.
properties.
I
There you
Post-apocalypse, it's a little more widely available.
Of course.
Things might be.
The law enforcement is a little less rigorous.
Or a little less extant.
Yeah.
But Z-weed, that's got a ring to it, right?
Yeah. No, it's got a good ring
I
to
think
it.
we're up there in Spokane. It's like we got to invest the big bucks we're making on this show somewhere. Let's
All right.
There may be some research involved.
open up
Have little
a.
prop bags of oregano.
Well, they have zombie donuts up there. They might as
Yeah.
well have like
What do they
zombie
call it?
pot.
Dawn of the Donut? Yeah.
Yes,
Donald
that's
Trump.
right.
This is a
Yeah.
thing. What is it? Please
Yeah.
explain to those of us who don't know.
Zombies
are currently very hungry.
Zombie-shaped donuts.
Yeah, they
There's
don't-
like
a
there's-
road trip.
little
There's a little
specialty shop.
zombie coffee shop too.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Is it-
zombies.
are
There was
they
a lot of
jelly-filled
zombie stuff that.
Oh,
think
they're
so.
disgusting. I mean, the donuts themselves are good, but they make them up to look really like little zombies.
Yeah, they're all
like,
gory with.
yeah, they're
different, like,
bloody and bloody icing and eyeballs that are falling off the side.
I'm waiting for the patient zero donut.
Where
Right.
have I been all my life?
half-eaten.
Why did cronuts catch on when we have zombie donuts? Well, why? America, come on.
I don't know what that is. Cronuts?
I've never heard of them.
Croissant donuts, they're not very good.
No,
Ew,
no.
that sounds gross.
Sounds
But-
like what caused the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right, that's how it started.
I'm sorry.
cronut
I had
mishap.
cronuts. Is it curable?
We did mention Murphy just now, and I do want to talk a little bit about where Murphy is at.
He got defaced.
I was thinking more of like it's kind of a snake metaphor. Because he's not exactly the most squeaky clean, upstanding guy, and so I kind of liked the image of him completely shedding his skin to become something new. And he has always been kind of
That was
sneaky.
Daniel's idea, by the way. him
Really?
shedding his skin. Yes, he was in the room when we were breaking that story. What if he sheds his skin? Oh yeah, that sounds good.
But
For the
didn't
audience,
he?
like
That makes
Face
perfect
Off.
For
sense.
the audience,
left, like,
do
naked,
you want
right?
to let them know who Daniel
Yes,
is?
he's naked when he.
He's
Oh,
naked.
Daniel's my son over there, who is also a
can't
photographer
be
working on the
seen.
show.
Yeah.
So Murphy leaves naked because he shed his skin, but
Yes.
like I guess he's got to get. Does he care if he gets clothes? Or
I think right now he's just trying to get out of the
Just gonna
blast
get out of
zone,
the blast.
and yeah, he's also been a nudist at heart. I think kind of an exhibitionist from the get-go.
Also,
I see another episode there at the nudist colony.
colony.
Oh my gosh,
God.
nudist zombies.
Also sounds like a great negotiation tactic. He sheds his face. Could be anybody now.
It's like Face Off.
That's
Good
right.
one. Good
That's
one.
right. We're working for the asylum. That's how it goes.
He just said, you ignored my pun. He got defaced.
I know.
We're moving past it.
I'm not here to acknowledge puns. I'm here to sure. Anyway.
But I mean, I guess do you guys think something caused it? Like the shedding of the skin, or was it like something new?
Well, we've seen him building up to this because we've seen in prior episodes that slowly but surely he's been peeling off like little bits of his skin. And I just figured that was him kind of decaying, especially after we see Patient Zero. Just all the decay there. I was seeing that as him kind of falling apart. I didn't necessarily think of it as him shedding his skin to become something new. That was something completely lost on me until he started ripping it off.
Oh yeah, he's molting. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, there's a butterfly in there. Just
Right,
ready to get
exactly.
out.
I kind of wanted
He's
to
going to
see
spread
what
his wings. next
Spread
season.
his
Right
wings.
away.
I kind of wanted to see what he looked like without a face. Are we going into Red Skull territory here, or are we going into creepy
No,
territory?
it was just kind of that little really clear. It is very much like when a snake sheds its skin. For any of you guys who have seen that sort of thing.
Or he could shed it and look like a shiny new baby. Like he's got like really
A zombie
clear
baby.
skin and.
Well, I mean, if when we see him again in season 2, he could look very clean. It could really be a new start for
The
him.
most regal zombie ever.
I
He is
loved
like
your
the
comment
zombie
about
king.
keeping it and making boots out of it.
Yeah, I didn't
That was
get that, but I mean,
wonderful.
it's like it's skin. How can you make boots out of it? But you know, Doc, it's no, you know.
It's like snakeskin boots.
I guess snakeskin boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zombie skin.
I also kind of
We
figured you
went
were
with it.
reeling from having been shot.
He's delusional.
There's that.
A little bit. Yeah.
I guess my thought with why I asked about something new is because they went through the decontamination process, like to like keep out the virus and everything. But if you decontaminate somebody who's completely infected with the virus, like who knows what kind of effect that could have.
Oh yeah, maybe that was part of it.
A real,
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
bad
reaction.
sunburn.
Yeah, because I have that comment. Never mind. About my gonads and.
Oh yeah, that was one of the funniest. That's one of the funniest lines in the show, and that's your.
That was added later, you know.
We all hadn't heard that because we weren't in the. John and I weren't in the session where you did that ADR line.
Right.
So we're watching like the last, and it didn't get cut in until like the last version of the cut that we were looking at. So we're watching sort of the final version of the show, and we get to those, which none of us had ever heard before, and we just like busted up
Well,
laughing.
there
It
was a
hilarious.
gonads line that got cut earlier.
From the earlier
right?
show, right,
And
yeah.
so when I got my list of ADR lines that needed to go,
I've been trying to work gonads in for the whole series.
No,
Finally,
well-
you managed to
well,
do
all
it.
it said was,
Winner.
all it said was, Doc, do some ad libs here.
Right.
So I said, okay. So I just threw a bunch of stuff out there.
By
and
the way,
that's
we're
what they
never
used.
doing that again.
That's what happens when you give him creative
Yeah.
freedom.
What did the
Dangerous.
other ad libs sound like?
Yeah.
I want those on the blooper reel.
I forget what they were, but
Well,
They're all in that
actually-
vein.
yeah, maybe on the
actually is
blooper
very
reel.
Yes.
interesting
They all
because
involve cronuts.
we've heard from a production standpoint that things move so quickly that there isn't really a whole lot of time to improvise. So when you get the opportunity, do you really get to like play? Is it really exciting?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, we get the lines, and I want to try to make them sound like Doc, you know, so I kind of dock them up a little. But I always say basically what you guys write.
Sure.
And I just kind of do my. Sometimes I'll do a little Doc take on it. Or I'll run and say, can I say it like this? Or usually a lot of the writers are there on set, and we can go say, can I try this or can I try that? They're really accommodating, and it's really a great group of writers.
And they're all, everybody's given sort of the freedom to improvise when there's time and they've
Yeah.
got an idea. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really encouraged. If you come up with something and it works, and everybody goes, "Yeah, that's good. Let's do that."
That's great. Or give me a clean one, the way I wrote it,
Right.
and then have some fun. If you have time, you get to do it your way, and
Right.
it's always really nice when they do that.
So, what sort of things have been improvised then? The gonads line, but what else that the audience may not have picked up on?
Oh dear.
Hard to remember specifically. I mean, so some of these episodes we get going so fast. I mean, even the finale, the final fight with Cassandra and everything was like shot in double overtime, like with the line producer going, "We got to get out of here."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I imagine
that
that's
was
all
just
you
getting
guys can
all
remember
made up
from
like
this series. It's just
Yeah.
people telling you to hurry up.
it's just a
It's
blur.
fast and
I mean,
furious.
we shoot pretty. Yeah, I mean, we make these every 6 days. One's cranking
We
out.
have
So
3 different versions of them. We have the idea of what it was supposed to be, and then some blur of what it is when we're doing it, and then finally you look at it and go, Okay, but you don't remember.
Somewhere.
Well, there's sort of three. Yeah, there's three different versions of the show. There's the one we write, and then there's the one you shoot, which is never exactly what you wrote, and then you get an edit together and make a new show out of that. So it's really like you sort of write it 3 times.
Somewhere from point A to point C, a show happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Z.
they get pretty different from how you started to how they wind up in the end. So
We heard about that with the Sisters of Mercy, that there was supposed to be more with this other kind of Citizen Z type person, and he just wound up being dead.
Yeah.
not sure
At
what
the-
that would be.
At the beginning of that episode, there was a big compound scene, and according to Jen, a lot of that had to be cut. for
Oh,
time.
right.
But just kind of looking back, since this is the end of the season, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about season highlights, because we want to talk about where we think season 2 is going. But I do want to talk a little bit. Favorite moment from this season, or favorite zombie kill?
The Liberty Bell.
Yes.
Right off. That was the moment of this show. Like I was like, okay, I can kind of see where we're going here. I'm not quite sure what direction it's gonna go. And then as soon as the Liberty Bell bowled over the zombies, like, I'm in.
Right. Yeah. No, I think people started to get the show at that point, like that we were kidding. I think that's sort of.
I think certainly Resurrection Zombie, when Murphy comes out of the thing and he realizes that he's got this ability, he puts his fingers in the mouth
Right.
of the dude. That was a pretty epic moment right there for sure.
That was pretty great.
I'm still stuck on the Liberty Bell. I am 100% with you on that one. And the I'd pay money to see that again line. The whole audience is like, you're telling me.
Yeah. And Doc's air shaft scene.
Now,
Thank you,
Great
Michael.
scene.
Yeah,
Great
That was
yeah.
funny.
I can't speak for Roya, but I have a feeling if she was here, she would
Zombear.
say Zombear.
Zombear.
Bear. That would be her.
And what about like Murphy sex with the apple pie? And,
Oh my God.
That's got to be
was
one of the
so
most
funny.
twisted.
Yeah.
When she licks his wound, I think that's some pretty
That
out
was-
there television.
So who knows? Could she could be pregnant, right? With,
I liked Garnett
that
eating
could
out.
happen.
We were predicting she was going to
Possibility,
be
right?
pregnant.
She could
Which-
have
Baby.
rubbed her
Again.
little belly.
Would we do something like
I
that?
can't imagine.
Zombabies?
Yeah, because this show certainly hasn't done a zombie baby before.
Speaking of the first episode, just that scene with all the zombies in the water and they all start getting up at once. That's one of those, this is the Stampede in the Lion King sort of moments.
Only all of those want to eat you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we did have a lot of good stuff. It's hard to pick a favorite moment because a lot of it has been really funny and a lot of it has surprised me. But I will say probably my favorite episode was the Resurrection Z
yeah, I love
episode,
that
I want to
episode.
say, just because it was such a game changer and it was so unexpected what ended up happening. So
Well, it had some great zombie action in it too, and really emotional stuff. That had that whole fight in the cafeteria is one of my favorite sequences. Where that
throwing
sequence
the
where
book at zombies.
well, just
Yes.
the act where it starts out with 10K and he's by the weapons stash and 2 zombies are chasing him and he takes off running and then he barely gets away and then it cuts inside the cafeteria and all hell is broken loose in there and that whole sequence that leads up to Addie with the blender.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a great moment.
Yeah,
that was
Yeah.
great.
That's a pretty good stretch of just zombie action, which
Yeah.
we try and get those opportunities where we remind people what the threat of the show really is. Not just background.
Losing Garnett was sad. That was the episode we lost
Yeah.
Garnett. That sucked. But he left for a good cause. He was the hero and threw himself in front of the.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
it was a good send off for a character, and you don't always get that in shows. And we get, as sad as it was to say goodbye, we get Warren as our kind of protagonist now, and I
Yeah.
really like, or at least as the leader of the group, and I really like the idea of her being the leader.
Yes.
Second, I really liked the Fubar episode. I think that
loved
was
it.
the one I had the most
That's one of my
fun.
favorites too.
Yeah.
That was
Like
a
That
blast.
slow motion ricochet bullet montage.
Oh yeah.
It's just so
Unbelievable.
hilarious.
And that dude in the
Outhouse
out-
zombie.
That guy was so cool. I got a really good picture of him. He was really a cool
Well,
guy.
Kalita's 2 big scenes. The one with the
Yeah.
bartender, beating the bartender, and then coming out with the spaghetti western music.
Yeah.
And
So great.
chopping her way through all those guys. That's a great sequence.
Yeah, and then
and
Murphy-
she's so good in it. I mean,
Murphy
she's-
biting form and was
Right,
like,
right.
what's going on with Murphy? And I love my little scene with him between the cars. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
did you bite him?
Yeah.
I am
He's
so
denying it.
disappointed in
I am
you.
very disappointed.
That was my
You're like
ad-lib.
his parent.
Yeah, that's
That was my
definitely
ad-lib.
that's definitely
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
I'm
like his
very
parent.
disappointed.
It's
I'm
great.
not
I
mad.
know.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
I love 10K's little crushes of the week.
Those are fun.
He's just like, women, how do I do this? It's great.
He wants
He's a
to
great
practice
guy.
a little bit before he makes a move on Cassandra.
Well, Murphy got to second base before he did.
Murphy got a home run.
Yeah.
I'm talking about with Cassandra.
Fair
Murphy got a home run before.
I don't think it counts if you bite them on
Yeah,
the cheek.
really
That's-
don't.
Murphy got a home
That's
run
like
before
fifth base
10K
or
knew
something.
what
That's like-
baseball was.
I think that's like called out at first on a technicality.
Yeah.
Okay,
No
the metaphor
biting.
has gone on
The
far
different
enough.
sport.
Yeah.
All right, well, now that we've kind of gone over the highlights from season 1, let's talk a little bit about season 2 with some predictions.
I love the light show.
Now,
I adore it.
your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Can't have predictions without
Jazz
theremen
hands.
music.
You're actually hypnotizing us to tell the truth.
Wow, there goes the zombie aliens, right?
Well, I'm sure that's all of season 2 is just going to be the nuclear bombs go off and it's the nuclear wasteland. And
More
that's the rest.
radiation more radiation zombies.
I mean, well, do you guys think, blinders, that the nukes are gonna go off? Could they be duds?
What I think is going to happen.
No, they're not duds.
Okay.
I think that there's going to be something, and I don't know if it's through some sort of technical interference that Citizen Z runs, but I think somehow they're going to become inert. I think right now the danger is real, but I think sometime in between when they're scheduled to land, I think that Citizen Z is going to somehow make them inert through some sort of technical wizardry. I don't know how.
I'm not gonna rule out it was all a dream. I'm not ruling
I would
it
be
out.
really upset if that happens.
But this is a show that could pull it off.
They did a really good
And
job with the time
how
loop
far
episode.
back would that dream go?
Well, we do have an offer out to Patrick Duffy.
Right. Yeah. It was-
I mean, there's a lot of ways it could go. Like, we could lose some of the team. I don't think we're gonna lose all the team. I'd be sad, but I mean, there's something to be said for hitting a reset button on a cast, but staying in the same world. If you still have DJ Qualls sort of like puppet mastering everybody.
Well, like Heroes was supposed to do and didn't at the last moment.
Well, I think there's too much groundwork for that to happen because if you kill off Murphy, well, actually he might be like a cockroach now and might actually be able to survive the nuclear apocalypse. Who knows?
There is somebody else that has the antibodies now too. So
Yeah, him and Cassandra could be our new main characters.
And
even
the
beyond
baby.
them, and
And the
And the
baby.
baby.
lots of balls in the air.
Absolutely.
If she
Boy, I
really
thought of
is
something
We're gonna do
pregnant,
the
Completely different when you
Rugrats
said that.
version of.
if she really is pregnant and she really does have a kid, would Murphy be able to theoretically control his kid if that kid were to grow up
Why
and
should
try
he
to
be
kill
able
him?
to?
Or
Yeah,
could
exactly.
the kid control him?
I don't think we're done with that compound, though.
I would
because
just like
Mac
to-
and Addie are there and because we have the baby.
I would like to live long enough to deliver the baby. And maybe. He saw that episode of ER.
Yeah, you actually saw the end of that episode.
Right? I saw the end of that episode.
The part where you have to bite the cord.
Right?
Yeah, the DVR recorded the entire thing. You didn't have to step away. You were able to watch it.
I would like
I would
for
step
Doc
up.
to live.
I would step
That
up for
be
that
great.
moment. I would love that.
So again, everything's still up in the air for this next season. But what would you like from Doc for season 2? Like, are there any character interactions that maybe you didn't get a whole lot of in season 1 that you would like to explore?
I've said this before in a couple other little interviews that I think I would like more with 10K.
Yes.
Just because he's kind of he lost his dad and I lost his son, and I think there's something there yet to learn about each other, and I like to think of him as my little surrogate son. Set a good example. Try to make up with him what I left.
Teach him about Rocky and porn.
All that, all the good stuff. Yeah.
I have
All
a
that
thought.
father-son stuff.
all the father-son stuff.
What's the thought?
What happens if Cassandra or anyone else that Murphy has bitten bite somebody.
Oh.
Who is in control of that third-party person?
Is this like vampires now, where we have people siring other zombies?
Whoa.
That's my thought.
Zompires.
I mean, I think I talked about it a few weeks
I
ago.
think that was the word you used too.
Zompires?
I don't remember. No, not that part. What I'm talking about, the idea that Murphy and then this mysterious doctor they got at being like the person who's sort of trying to form an army of zombies that are under their control to wage some massive international war.
It was never really made clear what the objective was, if it was for biological warfare or if it was to create some weird super soldier serum, only instead of Captain America we get the Winter Soldier.
All will be revealed.
Okay?
All will be revealed.
And there's some hints in there. There's some hints in there when they're talking about when Citizen Z is going through the resume of Dr. Curry, and there's a couple of lines.
I would like to freeze frame that and to kind of go through what those redacted documents were saying. I think that would be
might
very
get a little out of control.
Okay, commenters, if anyone has any screen caps,
Those VFX guys drink a lot. And I don't know what I don't know, that stuff that's too small to see on the screen, but they're spending all day doing. I have no idea what they really
That should
wrote.
not be treated as definitive.
it's the Pokédex.
And that would be hilarious. Zombie Pokemon. But obviously you
There
guys
are a
can't
few.
give anything away, out, and we won't pry for spoilers or anything like that.
You won't
But
pry.
From
I want an
a
exclusive.
production standpoint, is there anything you guys would like to tackle in season 2 that you haven't got a chance to for season 1?
Snow.
Yeah, maybe snow.
Maybe
is,
snow.
Snow is some, and some new locations we haven't seen. I think
Hawaii.
How?
Don't question it.
The surfing episode.
Everyone goes on vacation.
I think mostly we're going to try to make it bigger, better, and louder. I think is the direction we're going, and all those little kind of low budget, rough edges. We're going to get rid of those, and I think all the characters are really going to step in. The ones that survive are really going to step into
whoever they might be.
Yeah, characters in the future, and we're really going to try and step it up for the next season. Because this season was all about, can we actually do this? It was really wow, it worked. We made it through. We lived.
Right.
I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah.
I think you did it and did it well.
So next season we'll do it right. And it should be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
All right. Unfortunately, I think we are running short on time. We do have to wrap it up in just a minute. But do we have any other thoughts about this season and any other questions for our really awesome guests?
When's season 2?
Probably mid-September, early mid-September again. Same sort of run that we had this time.
Same bat time, same bat channel?
Yep.
All right.
Can't get here soon enough.
I'm just thinking so far into the future. It's if it becomes Z Nations and they have a tour of Europe eventually.
Spin-off.
They would have to have
Why
a
spin-off?
season
I
on
want
a
these
boat
characters.
or something to get there. That would be fantastic, though.
I love a spin-off. And then you have the crossover episode, and come on.
And then the action figures.
That would be cool to be an actor.
weapons.
Cool. Very cool.
Merchandising.
Something to live for.
Something to live for.
Yeah, everybody wants to be an action figure.
That would be awesome.
Well, I know you have zombabies. I've seen the figure. It's creepy.
Oh, that sounds terrifying. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it physically exists. They made plastic zombabies with a little Z Nation.
I don't want
onesie,
it.
and it was messed
They actually shake too. They
I didn't know it shook.
I know.
I didn't know it shook until my wife squeezed it and it started doing this whole thing. That was a cool gift, by the way. Very, very cool gift.
It was a great Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying. Well,
It was.
before we head out, where can people go if they want to find out more about the work that you guys are doing, or if you got any upcoming projects that you can maybe talk about? I know NDAs kind of make it tough sometimes.
I'm at Haj Mahal. That's my Twitter thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's Hodge, Hodg, no E, Mahal. And so I'm a new Twitterer. So be gentle.
Nice things, Twitter.
Yes, please.
How about you guys?
I'd say, yeah.
I'm on the Z Nation site at the SyFy.com.
And I post a lot at the at Z Nation on Twitter as well. So that's where I would look.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much
Thank
for
you much
coming on.
for having us.
No,
Thanks.
it was our pleasure. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, thank you for coming all season and just giving us all the inside scoops.
Yeah.
And again, special thanks to Katie Cullen. She was the one in charge of talent booking this season. So
I'm going to hide behind my mic
for all
here.
the wonderful guests, you have her to thank. Yay. All right.
You're welcome.
Zach Wilson, where can the people find you? if
All
they
right,
wanna find
guys.
out
Thanks
more?
for geeking out with us all season. You can follow me on Twitter at that Zach Wilson, ThatzHWilson. A whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz: Grimm, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sleepy Hollow. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and now Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on Sword Art Online. I say Sword Art Online and Z Nation back to back. And well,
Not
that'll
for
wait
a
till
while.
next season. And Arrow, we're hitting the mid-season finale.
And I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, like Classic Who, all
Yeah.
sorts of other fun stuff. Again, thank you guys so much for joining
you for
us
having
today,
us.
and thank you guys. Oh, I was going to actually do something. I don't know if we have time, but I wanted to do a really quick shout out on iTunes to everybody who had commented on the iTunes. Thank you, Wicked Pinto. Thank you, Big Reader. Thank you, SLH236, and thank you, FL-Moto Chick, for commenting on iTunes. You guys are the best, and we also loved hearing from everybody on YouTube. It really means the world to us when you guys rate and comment, because it lets our bosses know that you guys like this show.
Keep doing it in the off season. No reason
Please,
not to.
definitely. Hopefully we'll be able to come back for season 2, because that would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Employment is good.
Yeah.
For sure. And don't forget, you can also follow Roya at Hey Roya on Twitter and Instagram. So again, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and thank all of you guys for tuning in.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.